The Farm is a 2018 American cannibal horror film, directed and written by Hans Sternsward. The film stars Nora Hussein, Alec Gaylord, and Ken Volek. The film follows a young couple getting kidnapped and treated like farm animals after stopping at a roadside diner to eat meat. A Los Angeles couple, Nora and Alec, find themselves lost while driving through the countryside. They come across a way station and pull over, however, they find it closed. Nora, wanting to find a bathroom, goes to check the back and finds the remains of a camp where she finds a discarded wallet and cell phone. Tossing the items aside, she relieves herself only a couple of feet from where a human skull is seen hidden in the tall grass. Back in the car, Nora talks to Alec about the abandoned camp behind the way station, noting the things that were left behind. Alec isn't too worried about the discovery, as he is more concerned that the car is running low on gas. Further on, the couple encounter a woman whose car has died. Alec offers to jump-start her car, which the woman accepts. While Alec goes to bring the car over and his cables, the woman asks Nora if she is married to Alec. Nora states it's none of her business, which the older woman takes offense to, stating people like her are irresponsible, and begins insulting the couple. Alec is unable to fix the car, much to the woman's annoyance. Nora tells Alec to leave, leaving behind the woman. Finding a diner along the way, the two enter for a meal. Alec notices that a male patron is staring at them and the two decide to leave. Just as Nora goes to the door, the man tells her she is not safe here. Nora shrugs off his warning and the couple leave the diner. Alec is concerned about the man, but Nora thinks he was just a weirdo. Stopping at a gas station to fill the car, Alec asks the cashier for a place to lodge and is directed to some rental cabins up the road. Finding a rustic cabin, Nora is creeped out by the place and initially thinks it to be empty. They are shocked by the appearance of the crooked-faced landlord. The landlord kindly greets them and, hearing that they are looking for a room, guides them to a cabin. He and Alec enter into a conversation, though Nora finds the man disturbing and cuts the dialogue short. Alec is put off by Nora's divisiveness towards their host, yet his companion feels something is off about him. Unbeknownst to the couple, the top bunk bed of the room is bloodstained. At night, the pair go to bed. As they fall asleep, a man wearing a sheep mask has been hiding beneath the frame. Climbing from beneath the bed, the masked man looms over the couple menacingly. The next morning, Nora awakens to find herself in a wire dog cage. Panicking, she attempts to free herself and calls for Alec. A goat-masked man appears and thumps her cage to be silent before disappearing. Taking the chance, Nora spots a rock outside her cage. With difficulty, she manages to squeeze her hand through the mesh, grab the rock and attempts to use it to bash the lock of her cage. The goat man returns with a man wearing a cow mask, who proceeds to pour a canister over her head. Nora soon awakens in a barn strapped to a chair with her legs parted. A rabid-masked vet comes and proceeds to forcibly inseminate her. Back in her cage, Nora is pulled on a cart and sees other masked men and women doing various chores. She even spots one butchering a male corpse. Taken to a barn, she is locked in a stable. Alec awakens and finds himself in a cage as well, stripped of his clothes and gagged. He is not alone. Together in a barn with other men, he watches in horror as the masked men come in and begin bashing two of the captive men with a hammer from the tops of their cage, after securing them with a control pole. Like animals, Alec attempts to resist and escape through the opening, but is knocked out. His unconscious body along with the other two men are loaded on a trolley to a slaughterhouse. It's revealed that the compound is a farming commune full of silent people wearing animal masks. The livestock being humans, men being captured and slaughtered for meat, and women raised for milk. The meat which is used to supply a catering service for weddings and the like. The landlord, having taken an order that requires more meat, decides to use one of the dairy livestock. At the dairy barn, where several cage lactating women are kept, the landlord reviews their production rates before turning his attention to a mother with her baby. Taking her baby, he proceeds to measure its weight before having his henchman smash its skull on the ground and taking the body away. After the landlord and his man leave, the mother hysterically cries for her child. One of the commune people, an unmasked slow-minded man named Andrew, attempts to console her, though he speaks to her like a pet, only for the woman to lash out at him, calling him sick. Furious and hurt, he calls her a bad human. One of the hands comes to investigate the dairy barn and finds that Andrew had killed the woman and reports it to the landlord. Disappointed, he orders the others to find Andrew. Nora discovers another captive next to her stall, a woman who is being milked by a machine, and asks what is going on, only to be answered that she doesn't want to know and that there is no way out. The woman explains that the people who run the place spied on her and Alec at the rest stop they had passed. The woman reveals that she has been held at the farm for 2 years and was bred to the point where she can't get pregnant anymore and is relieved that it will soon be over. Hearing another crying voice, the woman explains it to be Ashley, another 2-year-old captive. Nora tries to give support to Ashley, stating that they will escape. Ashley states that escape is impossible as they always find them. Elsewhere, one of the masked men finds Andrew in the slaughterhouse, playing with a pair of decapitated heads. Andrews begs that it wasn't his fault and is dragged back to the landlord. The landlord scolds Andrew for leaving his post at the gas station and to stop playing with his food. Andrew is placed under the supervision of one of the farmhands and has him feed the caged men their meals. However, he accidentally tips the food pot, causing him to run in fear at punishment. Running to the greenhouse, he grabs oregano for the landlord in the kitchen, who happily accepts it. The pursuing farmhand comes in to reprimand Andrew and is later ordered to take care of the woman that can't produce milk. Nora soon watches the other woman being carved and slaughtered like meat before her eyes. As the butchers leave, Nora collapses in despair, only to be roused by a sound at her door. Alec, bloody and clothed, is found to be alive. The two escape the stables, quietly attempting to avoid the farmhands. Making their way across the property, Nora supports an injured Alec to a truck. The truck will not start and the two are forced to keep moving to avoid one of the masked people. Coming to a church, the two rest and notice the faces of Jesus and his followers replaced with the faces of farm animals. A cow-masked man enters the church, briefly praying at a pew. The couple attempts to sneak out only to be discovered. Nora flees with Alec and is pursued by the cow man, who rings a bell, alerting the rest of the farm. Running, Alec is caught in a bear trap. Nora tries to free him, but seeing the approaching farmhands, she is left with no choice but to abandon him. At the mercy of his captors, Alec's head is crushed with a rock. In the male barn, Nora hides behind a wall just as Andrew and the landlord come in. One of the male captives sees her, and silently attempts to tell her to hide. Nora quickly rushes to his cage and begs to know how to get off the farm. The man with great hesitation tells her about a bus the farmhands used to transport their catch and the location of the keys. Nora makes her way to a lot where several cars are parked. One of the masked people has his back turned to her and she takes the opportunity to bash his head with a hammer. 3 masked people spot and rush after her. Nora gets in one of the cars and starts it, driving through the fence only for it to shortly run out of gas. She is chased through the grounds, eventually making her way back to the stables where she frees Ashley. The 2 women make their way to the bus only for it to have no keys. Nora goes to the house where the male prisoner stated it was, and enters through the window. Going back to the car, Nora and Ashley board the vehicle. The former tries to start the bus, however, the women find that the back of the bus is now filled with the masked people who have been waiting for them. Later, the masked people from the farm are seen gathered at a table, where 2 main dishes are presented. Nora and Ashley prepared like roast pigs with apples in their mouths. Like, share and subscribe.